Last week's Senate tax bill was bad for a number of reasons that we broke down day by day as the week went by. But they reconvened over the weekend and found a way to make it even worse. Now, it's not enough that they're going to funnel trillions of dollars into the pockets of millionaires and billionaires and big corporations. They also want to kick potentially more than 10 million people off their health insurance to pay for it. Let's talk about some of these changes. The bill's tax cuts and benefits for individual Americans would almost all sunset by December 31st, 2025. So whatever you see about the potential tax cuts that you might get, which are almost surely going to be very small in comparison to the wealthiest Americans, those will last for a time and then will be gone. That includes the increased child tax credit, which is going from $1,000 to $2,000, the doubled standard deduction, the estate tax cut, which affects one of you in the audience, maybe, repeal of the alternative minimum tax, and even the tax break for pass-through business income. That last part's actually kind of a good thing, but it's going to be swamped by the rest. The bill also permanently eliminates the individual mandate that penalizes people for not having health insurance. Now, this is going to split some people because the individual mandate has long been the least popular part of the entire ACA for conservatives for one reason, for liberals for another reason. But there are reasons it's there. Maybe we'll get into them. And understand that for whatever opposition we might have to it, getting rid of it does actually have an effect in the real world, with the CBO estimating that 13 million people would lose their health insurance, including 8 million on the private marketplaces and 5 million in Medicaid. Now, some people dispute those numbers, say that it would probably be lower, but regardless, we are talking about millions and millions of Americans losing their health insurance to try to make this tax plan seem a little bit more palatable.
And for anyone who isn't concerned about the 13 million people who would lose their health insurance under this plan, there's also the issue of premiums going up for everyone. Because the whole idea of the mandate is to get healthy people, essentially force healthy people with, this fine to buy insurance, and they subsidize for, the more costly individuals who need to get the procedures necessary to stay alive. And so when you don't give people an incentive to buy insurance, healthy people to buy insurance, they're probably not going to. Premiums will go up.
So these are the same conversations and arguments we've been having about the healthcare bill, about repealing and replacing Obamacare for the past however many years. And then even for the past year since Trump has been in office, when they said, okay, first thing we're going to do is repeal and replace Obamacare, or just repeal, or just skinny repeal, or skinny replace, all the different things they kept trying to do. Once they failed multiple times, they said, oh, I have an idea. Let's just do it with the tax bill, because the tax bill is going to go through easily because every Republican wants that. That's where we are now.
Exactly.
So they think we've been hearing about it so much, and it's true. So many Americans will be like, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Obamacare is bad. Yeah, individual mandate, bad. Oh yeah, premiums up. Oh yeah, marketplace. Oh yeah, screw those poor people. I'm one of those poor people. Okay, screw them anyway.
Yeah.
And then let's move on to the next thing. And then do what? Not give tax breaks to those same people, but give tax breaks to the very top.
Yeah.
But they want that to continue to be muddied.
And in the end, by the mid-2020s, under this current plan, after we've given all this money to the wealthiest Americans, after we've taken the health insurance away from over 10 million Americans, most Americans at that point will actually see their taxes being higher than they are today because of the way that this is structured. Now, overall, the most important component of this is that change to the individual mandate. Like I said, it's not popular. It's not popular for Republicans. It's not popular for Democrats either. As many people point out, it originated from a conservative think tank, which is certainly an interesting historical footnote, but it is one of the three components of the ACA that has allowed it to work, and that has done a great amount of good. Many people have had health insurance. They haven't gone bankrupt. They haven't died. They haven't dwelled with chronic conditions being untreated because of something that we kind of dislike. At the end of the day, all of it sucks in comparison to Medicare for all, I should say, or some sort of single payer. But because we have Donald Trump as president, we ain't getting that for several years, maybe for another 7 years. So for now, we need to protect people. This is not just designed to kick them off health insurance. It's also designed to create a ripple effect that eventually will bring down the entire system.
This is the term that people always say, kicking the can down the road, we're going to push it back later, and all these things when it comes to politicians and legislation. So again, you mentioned the 2025 when these things would sunset and it would change again.
Yeah.
These are all temporary bandages to put on something right now so they can get their severe tax cuts for the people who fund them their entire lives and their entire careers. So when someone may read, oh, it sunsets in 2025, you don't think, you think that's so far away, but it doesn't matter how far away it is. That's 7 years basically away. And now you're thinking, oh, it's okay. It's 7 years away. By then, I'm going to be rich because they keep telling me how if I just wait longer, I'm going to get rich.
Yeah.
These people who I've given all of my money to are going to give it all back to me in abundance just because they love me.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, so many people who've been through this before, that we've seen these battles over tax cuts, would say, okay, so they're saying it's going to, sunset in 2025, but they never actually do that. In the end, they always just make them permanent at the end. So maybe my taxes wouldn't go up. Well, that's true, but if they make them permanent, then that also means that this is going to cost far, far more for the deficits and the national debt than they say. And all they're really doing is some sort of financial jujitsu to fool you into thinking that it won't cost more than $1.5 trillion so they can get it through the Senate with only 51 votes rather than 60. It's all just a shell game, and you get screwed regardless of which shell you actually choose.
It's amazing how the first thing they go for when it comes to saving money is any type of deduction or any type of tax benefit that helps the middle class or the working class, right? Because when they're talking about some of these tax breaks sunsetting after 10 years, they're the types of tax breaks that help us. And so that's exactly what you're talking about when you say our taxes are eventually going to go up. And by the way, I don't think they're going to make it permanent. You think Republicans in Congress will
I'm just saying it's bad either way.
It is bad. You're right. It's bad either way. And, I just want to quickly comment about how, I know it's frustrating to see what's happening at this moment, but there's a very clear reason that this is happening, and it's because we did not have a Democratic Party under the Obama administration that fought hard enough for a single-payer program. Obama campaigned saying that he did not like the idea of a mandate, right? Because, by the way, it was a conservative idea from the Heritage Foundation. It was implemented by Romney? Yeah, Romney in Massachusetts. So I just think back at the so-called Blue Dog Democrats, and I think back at, at least it appeared that Obama easily caved on the notion of a single-payer healthcare program in the U.S. And that's why we're having this ridiculous debate years and years later, and I see no end in sight. That's frustrating to say the least.
Well, and also that sort of frustration that you have should be a warning to everyone. Like, even if we think, okay, we're gonna get Medicare for all, it's gonna be awesome. And it would be awesome. Let's say we fight, and in 4 years or in 8 years we get a president. He fights for a year, and then we get it. Everybody's thinking like, oh, then we've won. No, after the ACA, they fight you. They fight you for fucking decades. After Roe v. Wade, they fight you. They fight you for decades. After the Great Society, after all those you don't just win. You win, and then you fight to maintain your winnings. So even once we get Medicare for all, there are going to be attempts to undermine it, attempts to repeal it for the rest of your lives and possibly the lives of your children. So buckle up, even if we win on that issue.
Now, why is that? The people that don't want it, that don't benefit financially directly from these types of things happening for them, are paying our politicians to keep fighting it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
If no one is funding them to keep fighting actual help for Americans, or what, honestly, not even help. I hate saying things like the help or the entitlements, which is now a bad word. The reason it's an entitlement is because it's what you deserve, it's what you paid for. If I go to the store and I spend $100 on groceries, I expect to get my $100 worth of groceries. I'm not entitled if I only get a couple loaves of bread and some eggs. Shit, I paid for all of that. We pay for this.
No. But okay, you're right. But the propaganda that essentially, defames people for wanting to take advantage of the benefits that they've paid into, it is seeping so deeply into the minds of some Americans. Just yesterday, I was listening to a conservative radio station, and a caller called in and was irate over the notion that people get tax breaks for their kids, right? And he's like, what are they gonna do with that money? They're gonna squander it anyway. First of all, how do you know that? Secondly, it's their money. It's their money. They worked for it. It's not your money. It's their income, you idiot.
Yeah, but what if they just spend it on their stupid kids, though?
They're going to squander it. First of all, it's their
kids?
Money. It's their money. I love how we're having conversations about the only tax deductions or the tax breaks that help the middle class and the working class.
So, and related to that, actually, one of the ways, in effect, this is going to help to subsidize those gigantic corporate tax cuts is that something like $300 billion will be, in effect, pulled away from Medicaid, another program that we won on literally decades ago. We still have to fight constantly to defend.
But this whole original thing, good thing, though.
Okay, there's some important updates that we have to get to.
The good thing, though, is that with this, at least the corporate tax rate that they're trying to drop from 25 to 30, that's going to sunset too, right, John?
No, that's permanent. Unfortunately, that one is permanent. And again, they're making these changes to pass through business income and stuff like that. That's something to keep an eye on. But let's talk about the chances of it passing. Never let your guard down when it comes to something like this. This is one of their chief priorities. I am shocked that they didn't try to pass it in the first month, but they really want to get this done. And so to do that, they need, to pass it in the Senate, not with a filibuster-proof ratio because of the financial wizardry they're doing here. But they do need a majority. And so some senators are now coming out and saying they're not going to vote for it, or they might not vote for it. The first is a no as of right now. That's Senator Ron Johnson, Republican of Wisconsin, saying he won't support the tax package because it, quote, unfairly benefits corporations over other businesses and finds the bill's process, quote, offensive. He also wants more benefits for pass-through businesses. That would benefit people like Donald Trump. So I could take issue with some of his reasons for opposing it, but as of right now, he's opposing it. It's the sort of thing that they can come out with draft number 3 and maybe win him back, which is the scary part. But right now, he's a no vote. We also have Susan Collins, who says that she had said she wants to get rid of the individual mandate and the ACA and all that. She also wants tax reform, but I believe taking a particular provision from the ACA and appending it to the tax bill greatly complicates our efforts. One of my concerns is it will cause premiums in the individual markets to go up as healthier, younger people drop out, because that is what would happen, and that's what's intended to happen, so that it would take down the whole thing.
It's true.
But she hasn't said she won't vote for it, but she is leaning against it, and Ron Johnson said no. Those are currently, as far as I know, the only no's. There's a guy in the House I saw, but that's less consequential than in the Senate.
Membership helps fund the Young Turks. You know one great thing about that? That means we're not accountable to anyone but you guys. That's why we're strong together, because we built this show around you. Come build it even bigger and better at tytnetwork.com/join.